Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated, and I've got the most fiery episode planned for you guys today. If you've already seen the thumbnail and that's what drew you in, you know exactly what direction I'm headed into. If before we dive into the content, you haven't liked this video, do me a huge favor, like the video. Liking the video helps us cruise along algorithm avenue, helps us get into the presence of individuals just like yourself who are interested in this kind of content. Subscribe to the channel also. We're on our journey to our first 500 subscribers, 50 subscribers away as of the recording of this episode. Shout out to the 450 subscribers that we presently have, man. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for your support. Since I've been, in the works of growing this channel, it's been a lot of fun. It's going to continue. The journey will continue, obviously, with all your support, man. So I appreciate you. But off we go. I'm telling today's episode. LeBron checks Stephen A. Smith, man to man. Bro, during last night's game in LA at crypto.com arena, where the LA Lakers squared off against the New York Knicks, after the game, LeBron James, decided to confront Stephen A. Smith. As you can see, from the video running here on the screen, he just decided to approach Stephen A. Smith, had some choice words for Stephen A. Smith, which we're going to dive into here, regarding some of the Stephen A.'s commentary around Bronny James. You're a lip reader, or you made an attempt to do some lip reading. Zoom in on the video and kind of see LeBron saying, "Keep my son fucking name out your mouth." You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's all well and good. As a parent myself, I can understand and I can be touched, man, by a parent's protective nature, right? I can be touched by the protective nature of a parent. But this LeBron James shit, this Bronny James shit as it pertains to LeBron is out of fucking control. And when it got to the point of being out of control, people in the media like Stephen A. Smith spoke on it. People in the independent media space spoke on it. I spoke on Bronny James. I spoke on the BS of it. I've spoken not just once Bronny got into the league, but I made like 5 videos during the summer just talking about Bronny James, period, and not being negative. My first video that I created was in support of Bronny James. And then I'm Team Bronny. I was happy to see, what he could possibly do in the league, right? And this was before he got drafted. I was talking about him being worthy of an NBA contract, just as worthy as anybody else entering the workforce if a team decided to use and utilize a draft pick on him. All the extra stuff that has come as a result, though, is worthy of being talked about, and it has been talked about by not just myself, not just by people hating on Bronny. I talked about his mental health in another episode. And if anybody was actually concerned about that, meaning his dad or his handlers, were any of them concerned about Bronny's mental health and what would happen when the media began to drag him? I foresaw the media dragging him because I knew it's the nature of the world we live in, as Kevin Durant said in a recent episode that I published, as he was just talking about the perceived scuttle between he and Coach Bud on the sideline. So that the nature of the world that we live in, especially because everybody has social media and everybody has a voice, not even, this including me. Everybody's taking to the social media airwaves to share opinions on things that they see. Nobody seemed to care about Bronny James's mental health was the issue that I raised. I also talked about this because Bronny himself spoke about this amplified amount of pressure that was on him because his dad is LeBron James, because he's the son of LeBron James. LeBron James then went on record in an interview with Tim McMenamin on ESPN by saying, man, people don't even know that Bronny don't even give a shit. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't. That was a quote from LeBron. He works his ass off in the gym, and then he goes home and he plays his video games. And Bronny's talking about this amplified amount of pressure. LeBron saying he doesn't give a fuck. Those two things didn't align. And I called that out at that point as well. Since Bronny is coming to the league, obviously the scrutiny that followed is warranted because this kid is on a professional basketball team in the biggest professional basketball league. And I mean, why should he not be talked about like everybody else? And his dad pulled strings to get him on the team. We understand it. We're speaking out about what we see and what we understand. Can't be offended as a fucking parent because people are talking about your kid in a public forum, public space when he's or playing rather in the spectrum of the public. Scrutiny, man, comes with the territory. I would ask LeBron, did you just start playing basketball? I know that you haven't. You've been in the league for 22 years, bro, and played basketball before then. People talk. People talked about you when you were in high school, wrote things up, said things up. Like, come on, bro. And so to be, I guess, frustrated or annoyed by the commentary of those who said things publicly and what Stephen A said on air. I don't agree with every take that he's had on Bronny, but I know that Stephen A is, under the thumb of the FCC. So some of the things that he said, man, haven't really been as harsh as some of the other things that I've heard. But LeBron steps to Stephen A. Smith nonetheless. This morning on First Take, Stephen A. spoke to the situation specifically. So before I give additional opinion and commentary on it, I want to hear rightfully from the man who was a part of the man-to-man exchange, being Stephen A. Smith. I want to hear from Stephen A. himself, and then I'll come back.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. Apparently, he feels like I was slighting his son. Now let me tell you what I feel. What I would have said if we were in a different environment, because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting. But if we had had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. But in the same breath, at the time that we were talking about him, he was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral. And so we had to talk about it. And when I said the things that I said, I wasn't talking about Bronny James because my attitude is he's a rookie. It's going to take some time for him to get himself together. He'll be just fine, especially with J.J. Redick and the staff coaching him. I was talking about the position that he was put in by his dad, because LeBron James has been on the record and he has said, and I'll read the quote here. There was a quote that he gave in February of 2024. The work and results will ultimately do talking, no matter what the size. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what mock drafts say. He just works, earned, not given, etc., etc. But he also had said that his son could play on the Lakers right now, and he was better than half the dudes in the NBA. In the aftermath of all of that, he instructed everybody before the draft that y'all want me, draft Bronny. Wherever Bronny is at, that's where I'll be. I'll do whatever it takes to play with my son for a year. It's not about the money at that point. My point months ago was that because of who you are, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, in my estimation, there's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that for his son. And when he talked like that and what have you, anything that goes awry as it pertains to his son, there's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified, on Bronny James because of his dad.
Duh.
And that's when I was talking about, come on, man, this is the situation that you're putting him in. That's where I was coming from. If I was in his position, I can't definitively say I would not have done the same thing.
As a father.
I'm not blaming him one bit. I get it. I understand it. And there's a part of me that aches and hurts because of it. But unlike a whole bunch of people with their podcast and beyond that talk about the NBA, I covered the NBA. And it's my job to talk about the subjects and the subject matters that matter. I was raised as a journalist. Let's be very, very clear about what that means. I'm not one of those that get into people's private affairs. But what you do on a public platform for public consumption, that's what I cover. That's what I do for a living. And if you're in the NBA, that applies to you. I don't want enemies, but I also get paid to call it like I see it. And what I said at the time, I stand by what I said.
10 toes.
It wasn't even any reporting. The facts were out there.
Facts are facts.
And what I was saying about LeBron is fact-based because of what he said and the things that he said leading up to his son getting drafted. But when you're raised as a journalist professionally, you don't want enemies, but you ain't paid to make friends. Mm-hmm. You got to call it like you see it. And that's what I did.
Shout out to Stephen A. Smith, man, for replying and responding where on First Take this morning, regarding the incident, because he did not have to. He said so in that clip. I actually clipped it up down to about 5 minutes. It was like a 13-minute long clip. I clipped the things that were most important, tried to take some of the redundant info out, which would allow me the proper time to be able to post this without Disney flagging me and ESPN flagging me for the use of the content. So I can appreciate, number one, like I said, Stephen A. just addressing it as a man. You know what I mean? To be like, yo, it was just 2 men having a conversation. I won't say everything that was said, but I can understand the angle or his anger and frustration, right? But the reality is what I said was what I said because it's my fucking job to say what I said. And I also produce a show, the number 1 morning show on television, 13 years running. Thank God that we've been blessed with an opportunity to do so. So the information or content that goes viral, the stories that go viral, how could we not cover them? He covered them in fairness because to Stephen A's point, and again, I won't sit here and defend all of his takes because I've heard him make some takes, whether it's be about Bronny or whether it be about someone else, you know what I mean, that I just didn't agree with. So I won't sit here and say, well, Stephen A only had these glowing comments and remarks about Bronny. The way that he framed it was the way that he just framed it in his response. I'm not sitting here to defend that. I'm sitting here to defend the point of view and the perspective that we are literally, and he himself was literally focusing on from the perspective rather of the dad, being LeBron James, the adult in this case, man, putting an enormous amount of pressure on this kid with how this Bronny being drafted was set up. That was problematic. And so that was being addressed. There is nothing wrong with addressing that. You have a problem with it, that's on you, LeBron, and whomever else loves LeBron James so much that you guys just like, you're just being negative about Bronny. Oh, he's a rookie. Give him some time. We can all understand that respectfully. But as a father, my daughter graduated, from Howard University. Shout out to Rye. But listen, she has a desire to get into the medical industry. And if I could pull strings to get her into the medical industry, meaning that I could get her into her dream job right now, and I pulled that string, and let's just say, for instance, that thing was for her to be a surgeon. And I, because of me and my status, reputation, and my resources, I pull strings to get her in the operating room before it's her time. Bronny James, in a sense, on an NBA court before it's his time. The medical journals begin to write up things about her and her lack of expertise. I stand out front and want to punch the journalists in the face for speaking truthfully based on what they see that's relegated to her performance. It's ridiculous to take that kind of a position when I pulled strings to get her a position that she wasn't ready for. Come on. She would have to step into the moment. She would have to be on her game, to step her game up, to be better at what she does. Like, come on, bro. So the position of LeBron James, in a sense, like I said, man, as a father, it's a very fine line. I get it, bro. But let's not be ridiculous here. Let's not be ridiculous here and act like you ain't pulled all these fucking strings and now you want to pull the angry grown man card, step into this brother like he says something wrong. Well, nothing wrong here is stated. You can let go of the sensitivity about you keep my child's name or my son's name out your mouth. Yeah, bro, I can understand that, bro, but don't hide behind this misplaced rage. It reminds me of Will Smith. Keep my wife's name out your mouth with the Jada shit. Like it's misplaced rage that you need to find the right place to put that, bro, and not address it in the way that you did. So I don't respect it. I respect men being men. You know what I mean? To a degree, I can understand and respect that a father will want to put their child in the best possible position to win. But in this situation, that goes against this respect of the nature. It's like, yeah, but am I really putting them in the best position to win? And so when I expose, my child to all this scrutiny or this level of scrutiny or this level of pressure, now I have to accept that comes along with it. That's the real part of it. That's the real part of it. And so again, I respect Stephen A. Smith for coming out saying, what he said about it. I detailed, as I've mentioned in this episode already, about 5 different videos where I talked about Bronny, 4 or 5, I can't remember, where I talked about him leading up to him, even playing a summer league game or through the summer as the scrutiny began to come in. I'll say prior to preseason, I did like 5 videos. I took those videos and I condensed them all into one episode, and I entitled them taking a deeper look into the Bronny files, I believe it was. I will link that video at the end of this one for you guys to go back and check out if you'd like to. But this notion that everybody's hating on Bronny just because we're talking about him is bullshit, and I proved it in that episode by putting that full compilation together. We ain't been hating on this dude, but we're gonna call a spade a spade. And the only reason that we're actually talking about him, not because he was a number 55 overall pick, not because his daddy was LeBron James, not because we just want to see him fail, but it's because his dad kept making dumbass statements like the one Stephen A. referenced in terms of quoting LeBron directly. That's why the scrutiny came. He's ready. He's better than the Lakers players right now. Bronny low-key better than some of these people I'm watching on League Pass tonight. It's low-key hilarious. LOL. Ha ha ha. Earn not given. Continuing to say earn not given when we know that the kid did not earn his way into the NBA after just one season, one and done at USC, where he averaged 5 points. Averaged 5 points a game, bro. Come on. Come on. Come on. You gotta let go of that misplaced rage. It's bullshit. And it's fake. It makes you even more fake and phony. It makes you, bro. I really want to, I really want to say some stuff, bro. But it makes you look, like a weak ass dude, bro. It really does. For all the I checked him. Yeah, I stepped to him in his face. Like, tighten up, bro. Tighten up. Tighten up. The reality is that Bronny wouldn't be in the public, like the space for public scrutiny the way that he is if it wasn't at the NBA level. If it wasn't for you pulling strings behind the scenes to get him into this elevated position, to have a guaranteed contract on the LA Lakers right now, when you guys could really use that space, that roster space and the contract space to sign another big man that you actually need right now, or another key player to help you guys win right now, bro. I'm talking right now, right now. But because you elevated him into this space, man, he's subjected to all this scrutiny, all this chatter, all these articles, all this commentary. You can't throw a stone and then hide your hands, chump. You cast the stones, trying to hide your hands like, what happened? Why everybody acting weird? We're acting weird because you started it. It's because you started it. So understanding that this level of scrutiny and people talking about Bronny positively or negatively comes with the territory. And that being so, accept it or get your son out of the NBA. Period. That's been the basis of this episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, man. I appreciate you. I just wanted to, kind of get that out, throw it up. My buddies have been in the group text, man, blowing like 50, 60 messages when I looked at my phone. I was like, what the? And they were going in about this, about how ridiculous it is. Just about the position and the lack of accountability being taken by LeBron James, even in that position. It's like, come on, bro, that ain't man shit. It's not. Yeah, the protection part is, bro, but keep in mind you did this. You did this. So I just wanted to get that out. I will catch you guys in the next episode, man. Like the video if you haven't done so already, as I've stated. Subscribe to the channel as well, man. We are on the road to 500 subscribers coming soon. I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourselves. Blessings.